Startled awake by the sudden sound of screaming, Yin could feel her blood turn to ice as chill upon chill scratched up her back and arms. What the hell? What's going on? Bolting out of the cocoon that she had been from the small blanket she was provided, she slowly opened the door of her room to peek out into the halls. Her eyes widened upon finding that the store looked as if a tornado had gone through it and the tables smashed and the walls holding marks that showed to be made from claws. However, the worst part was the owner's body dead on the floor. His eyes were lifeless, and she swore her last breath left her body when the figure that had been lurking in the shadows jumped out, a large hulk of meat in its hand she assumed was from the man. What? No. How are those things here again? Gritting her teeth, Yin closed the door as quietly as she could, hating how her heart sped up and how her fingers trembled. Slowly backing away, she then turned towards the only window in the room, one that looked to be barely big enough to fit her. She had now choices in her matter, though considering that this was her only escape. Breathing in deeply, she sank in some of the crates that were in the room to the top one another and beginning to climb the small tower to ease up the window, able to successfully pull it open on her fifth try. Squeezing and working her body through the small opening, she landed on the ground just as she heard the door inside burst open, a low growl reverberating from the demon's throat. Hell no, I'm not dying again. No thank you. Very much. Scrambling on her feet, Yin ran as fast as she could, rounding the side of the building to find utter chaos. Buildings destroyed or in flames, corpses littered the ground, and soot and ash in the air. This was truly a massacre. God, seeing this in real life is vastly different than seeing it through screens. Snapping out of her stupor when hearing those inhuman growls and laughs, Yin turned and continued running, breaths coming out in short gasps that worsened the burning in her lungs and sides. When she deemed it safe, she rested her back against the rough bark of a tree before allowing her eyes to turn upward into the dark sky, snow glistening the air, slowly falling from the ground from gray clouds and blurring down to the earth. Oh, now what do we have here? Snapping her neck down upon hearing the overtly cheerful voice that spoke, Yin's gaze soon met that of the demon's. His rainbow eyes were engraved with kanji, his silvery blonde hair flaring out at his shoulders before draping down his back in a thin spiral. A smirk decorated his lips, and in one hand he held a shimmering golden fan. As her eyes traveled down his appearance, from the crown-like hat he wore, sporting golden tassels, and the blood-red turtleneck shirt that seemed to be dripping with the black substance, to the green and golden belt succeeding loosely fitting hakata pants and pin-striped design, she recognized him immediately. Shit, that's Doma! She took a sharply step back, the third strongest demon in the world besides Muzan and Kibutsuji. Oh, and Kokishibo. I'm so sorry. Shit. Not that talkative, are you? Doma pouted, clearly disapproval written in his expression as he flicked his fan and popped it under his chin. Well, that's okay. I hate the screamers anyway. Yin swallowed thickly. I need to get out of here. She slowly began to back away, feeling as if she were about to collapse from how much her legs were shaking due to Doma's overwhelming presence. Oh. Once again, Doma grabbed her attention when he started sniffing the air. Once, twice. He smiled and looked eerie and making her skin crawl. Now, isn't this interesting? In an instant, he ran forward, swiping his fan through the air until an awful ripping sound filled the air and the color red stained the golden substance and he then continued. Your blood is truly delicacy. Looking down, Yin swore she could almost collapse right there and then. What the fuck? She screamed as she fell to her knees, dripping and stumbling where her left arm used to be after Doma had sliced it off, desperately trying to stop the blood flow. That isn't Japanese, Doma muttered with a tilt of his head. And now that I look at you, you don't seem to be from around here at all. Doma, she gasped, surprising him when he heard her say his name. What the fuck? The demon blinked at her, watching as she breathed raggedly and withered in pain, her face twisted in agony. Only then did he laugh. The sound was twisted and completely menacing, the pure amusement he felt at the sight practically overwhelming his entire senses. He didn't think that a human, especially one he found randomly, and a woman at that, would ever know his name. If anything, she should have been dead, consumed by him instead of alive. Apparently, he was mistaken. How do you know my name, human? He smirked, his fangs glistening in the light. And why do you sound as if you know me? I don't know you, Yin gasped out, ripping off a piece of her shirt with her teeth and tying it tightly around her now half limb. I don't know you, you motionless fucking demon. Doma's smile faded, and his humor disappeared at her words. What? She laughed weakly, knowing she was just going to die all over again, knowing nothing she could do would prevent that, and instead choose to speak her thoughts, speak of annoyances that she had dealt with. Are you mad that I'm speaking the truth? You don't even know what it's like to be mad. Smiling to herself, she switched to English, saying, It's funny, since if you kill me because of this, I'll keep on living. What? Doma's lips curled in disgust, now circling her and eyeing her now like a slab of meat. Honestly, you're so irritating. It's spoiling your pretty appearance. Then just kill me already, Yin sighed, flinching when he tilted her chin upwards. As you wish. It's time for a Togawa era secret. Yin is only able to regenerate after death because her cells are always mending at hyperspeed and then breaking down again due to her being in a different world. Despite Kitaru and Daki consuming Yin, since her blood was still on the snow, her cells were able to regenerate her body because of that. Since Yin still thinks in English, it takes some time for her brain to compute Japanese, especially when it's spoken fast, soft, or jumbled.